Hi, this is MoMo in the morning. Just want to talk a little bit about some things that are going on. And today, it's Saturday, and there's a rally in Joliet, or Crest Hill rather, Theodore and Larkin. It's going on from 9 to 2. And also, it's about is reopening the economy. Everybody in Illinois is suffering. And the things that we're hurting from are things that there's no accurate numbers on. When we talk about the unseen problem, the deteriorating economy, what are some of the things that happen as a consequence of closing the economy down for what's going to be like 2.5, 3 months, the way it looks? People are losing their jobs. When they lose their job, they lose their health insurance. People are also filing for unemployment in Illinois, and they can't get through. They call, they go online, they do the whole bit, they can't get through. And when they do finally get through, I have two people that called me that they got through finally, no problem. But one of them needed a PIN number, which the state didn't give them. And so they're trying to get back on to get a PIN number. The other one said that they didn't qualify because they used unemployment, but the person said they never went on unemployment. So we got a lot of problems here in Illinois. People don't talk about it, but when you don't work and you have no money, and you can't get unemployment, because even when they do get it, it takes 2 weeks to get it. And now you got to worry about paying your rent or your mortgage, buying food. And everybody still gets sick. They just don't go to the hospital. Even though the government opened up for elective surgeries and elective things, people are afraid to go to the doctor because they think it's loaded with coronavirus people. So they don't go. So people are being sick at home. The hospitals are all in trouble because nobody's going to them. They're laying people off. This is crazy. Then you find out that we're still getting our medicines from China. And then a lot of our food supply, they grow the hogs in the United States, and then they ship them to China for processing. So you're buying your pork from China, even though they're made here. It's the cows and the pigs and all the animals are from here, but China's doing the processing. They could stick anything they want in that meat. I'm not saying they are, but they sure could. How would we know? This whole system has got to be fixed. So when I talk about opening the economy up, I'm worried about people committing suicide because they feel no more hope. They have no hope that we can fix this. They don't know where their next meal may come from. If you look at the food pantries, they're loaded. There's lines for all of them. It's a bad situation. And there's a point when the supply chain is going to bust down. You just can't keep taking and not producing. It's socialism. And socialism never works. So we can't continue like this. It's crazy. And it's all about fake numbers. Or I should say fake, they're legitimate, but the population of the state of Illinois is about 2.6 million people. 39,000 out of them tested positive. There were 1,795 deaths and 189,000 people tested. We're talking out of 2.6 million people. We're shutting down the whole economy in Illinois. Now I get it. The virus is highly contagious. And people like me that are over 60, we have a high risk that we could pass away if we got the disease. But it doesn't mean we do, because judging from the numbers, not that many people compared to the population are dying from it. But at the same time, people my age, over 60, should be real careful. We need to wash our hands a lot, and we don't need to be going out and going to different places. I only go to the store when it's absolutely necessary, just to get out of the house. Because my kids, they'll go out and get whatever I need for me. But I do got to get out of the house a little bit and walk around in public. It drives me nuts sitting in here. But at the same time, why is everything shut down? The numbers don't justify it. And I look at it and I say, well, it's not just the United States, it's the whole world. In the past, we had all these plagues. And we never shut the world down. If you go back to the time of Jesus, they had leprosy. And what did they do? They quarantined the people that had leprosy. They put them in a leper colony. It sounds really cruel. But we're doing the same thing now. We're quarantining all the people that get this disease. And we're also quarantining the people that don't get it because we can't go out and do nothing. We can't socialize. And we are social beings. Yeah, the Democrats are nursing this. They're trying to make it into a big deal. And, I don't think it should be even political because everybody's hurting from it. Republican, Democrat, Libertarian. Even if you're a socialist, communist here, you're hurting. It doesn't matter. This economy shutting down hurts everybody. So I question why it's shut down. Is it to protect me? Because I'm the one that's most vulnerable, my age group. Or is it just cause a problem for Trump? Because now I'm starting to think it's more political in the United States than it is anything else. Especially when they start bashing hydrochloroquine. It's used by every country in the world. And it's just everyone that you talk to that's a doctor says it's a good product and it's successful. But now they're saying that it gives you heart problems. So they don't want to use it. Well, it's funny. France, they use it. Spain uses it. Italy uses it. And it's successful there. But I guess their bodies are different than the human body in the United States. Yeah, there's problems. There's problems with everything. But we just can't do everything on a political thing now. We got to just wake up. And we got to say, no, politics aren't the important thing. And we can't let government overreach like they sent the FBI. I don't know who the they is, but the FBI was sent into a place called Allure Medical in a raid because they were treating coronavirus patients with high doses of vitamin C. So evidently, whoever the they is doesn't agree that that's a legitimate treatment, according to the articles. But yet, in some foreign countries, that's what they're using. In China, they are using high doses of vitamin C, and they say it works. Well, it's between the doctor and the person. It ain't between the person and the FBI or the government. If somebody's got this disease and they're worried about dying, we should let them have whatever the hell they want. If they think it's going to work and the doctor thinks it's going to work, why not use it? People have been going to cancer treatment places all over the world for I don't know how long, and we don't send the FBI out after them. But because this coronavirus seems to be something that they want to really, really knock out of the park to get what they want, they use it as a political tool. And I don't think there's any place for that garbage. We shouldn't be doing anything political during this thing. This is more about saving lives of people. And the statistics show, at least in my mind, the number of people that get this disease is high. But it's not compared to the whole population. And if the people are all getting it and they're not getting sick from it, isn't that what they were calling the herd thing? So they get it, but they don't get sick. So, I don't know what's going on. Why on earth should there be all this government overreach? When the state of Michigan, they tell you can't even get a rowboat and go out and fish. Now I guess they changed it with this new rule. But they originally said you can't go out on your own boat. They don't want you traveling from your house to your cottage. And all that is guidelines. There's no laws passed by a legislative body that says you can't do this stuff. It's all guidelines. Tennessee is opening up, and the president says he don't like it. It's a bad idea. He's not following the guidelines. But the president doesn't want to make an issue, I'm sure, because if he does, it'll go to the Supreme Court and they got to rule. Can the president set guidelines that overrule the U.S. Constitution as it was written? That's one of the rights we got guaranteed in the Constitution with the Bill of Rights, the right of assembly. We have the right of free speech. We have privacy rights. And they're talking about using an app on a telephone with Facebook. They're using an app where all of a sudden if you walk down the street and there's a guy outside and he's out watering his plants or whatever, it's going to notify you that there's a person with the virus by you. That means they know who the virus people are, and they're going to basically be notifying everybody that wants to know where they are. That's bull. It's nobody's business. So everybody's going to end up, if we get what some people want, they want to have a chip where you are in your right hand, which reminds me of the end times prophecies, but we won't even go into that. But they want to have a chip so that they can say that you've been tested and you're okay. This is all silliness. And then we go to the state of Illinois. Again, I don't know what the other states are doing, but I know what's going on here. There's an election coming up in 2020. Candidates that are going to get slated for empty spots on the ballot have to go out and get signatures. Well, how are they going to get signatures and follow the guidelines? They have to go to someone's door, knock on the door, and then drop the clipboard down on the ground, walk out on the sidewalk and say, I left the clipboard there so you could sign a petition for me. I'm running for whatever. And then the person picks it up, signs it, closes the door. Then you go back up and get it. And guess what? If they got the disease, it's on the clipboard. So what do you got to do? You got to carry wipes and wipe down the clipboard. But make sure you don't get it on the paper because you'll smear the ink. Okay, so now there's a simple problem that we got that can be fixed. Government can say that they can do it by emails. The government can say that you don't have to get the signatures at all because you know that whoever's running is going to get the signatures. They could do a lot of things, but they don't. Why? Because they're getting really political here in Illinois. They want to get a bailout for all the bad things that they do here and have done for God knows how many years under Democrat control. I can't remember when any Republican was in control. If I'm not mistaken, Madigan has been the head for over 30 years. He's the boss of all bosses. They talk about the mob. Madigan's the boss. Whatever he wants, he gets, and he does. It's not good. So now we're going to have the federal government bail out our pensions because the government, the Democrat-controlled government, gave all kinds of high raises to all these people over the years, and then they put the money in a pension fund, and they borrowed the money from the pension funds. The pension funds that they put it in didn't invest it properly, and then they went broke. So there's a lot of different things involved. It's mismanagement of funds, and now they want the federal government to bail them out. And I sure hope that they don't. And anybody in Illinois that votes for that progressive income tax, which they call the fair tax, which ain't the fair tax that most people think of being fair, but that tax they can raise every single year at the whim of the legislators. So every year it's going to go up. This is a crazy, crazy world right now. And we got to wake up and follow what's going on and not be afraid to stand up and say, no, we're not going to do this stuff. And my advice for the state of Illinois is to open up as quick as possible. Because every day that it's closed, the state of Illinois loses more money and more businesses fail and more businesses are not going to come back. And the employees that work there are going to have to be on unemployment. And when their employment runs out, they're not going to be able to find a job. So they're going to have to leave here. So the exodus in Illinois will be even bigger than it is now. Let's all wake up.